the weight of cocaine involved was 2,253 kilograms.
This is the largest drug seizure in the history of the state.
Obviously, we're delighted with that today. It's fantastic work of the Naval Service, of the Gardaí, of the Army Ranger Wing. Right? Visibly we can see what they do. What we don't see sort of behind the scenes is that you have to go back a number of months. First of all, on the 19th of September, the Brazilian National Crime Agency and Federal Police intercepted a vessel in the South Atlantic. On the 21st of September, the French then intercepted another vessel off the coast of Africa. So what you can see is a major intelligence win that was going on, that then in terms of the MV Matthews route, this ship was intercepted and detained by the Naval Service and the Army Ranger Wing. Clearly there was very good intelligence work going on long before the Naval Service got there off the south coast of Ireland.
We had cooperation from the Drugs Enforcement Administration in the United States, the National Crime Agency in the UK, colleagues in France, and also MAOC, the Maritime Analysis section based in Lisbon and Portugal.
There has been really unforgivable lack of political attention and investment over the last 20 years into dealing with these emerging threats. Now they're here, and so now we're late. So what can we do about that? Well, I mean, the EU is increasingly becoming more organised, more capable when it comes to maritime security, and certainly in the Mediterranean, but in the last number of years also in the Atlantic. And I think that offers us opportunities there. If you look at the Maritime Analysis and Operations Centre, of course, which Ireland is part of, 6 EU member states and the United Kingdom, I think this is a great step forward. We do need to invest, however, in our intelligence capabilities as well as our naval capabilities. But in the interim, what we do really need to lean on are these type of partnerships like MAOC.
We should have about 1,100 people in our Navy. We've only 750, and the numbers are still in free fall. The Commission on the Defence Forces recommending a double crewing of our vessels, so we should really be heading up towards 2,000. But again, we're going completely in the wrong direction. I'd be happy to get to 1,100 first of all, and then we can build up from there. And let's just remember, it's not just about policing, it's all about environmental controls as well, and search and rescue assets. So if a trawler gets in trouble, or if a container ship gets in trouble, or even a ferry, you need assets on station and a maritime presence out there. There's absolutely no substitute for that.
The Navy, in my view, is overstretched, right? So they have these tasks which they react to, which are important for Ireland's reputation, for international counter-narcotics operations. They do that really well. And it's impressive, as you can see, these are highly trained people who can react in a very professional way. The problem is what's going on elsewhere. The less graded intelligence would suggest that there may be a significant amount of drug trafficking off the northwest coast, particularly off the coast of Donegal. The Naval Service is undoubtedly extremely strained. The pooling of resources to react to these very significant narcotics threats, which is what An Garda Síochána really want them to do as well, means that I'm concerned about there might be other sort of blank spots that we're not sort of doing enough detection and deterrence based on less kind of current intelligence.
About 50% of the drugs would come in through established ports and airports, and the other 50% would ballpark come in on these small coves, the small inlets and the small harbours in bulk shipments on the west coast. So the fewer the people that are left in the Naval Service, the bigger the burden on those that remain. So if you solve pay, you'll improve retention, you'll improve recruitment, and over time the Navy can regenerate.
We have a weak defence capability, very weak. Unforgivably weak, but here we are. The first step, which I think is a diplomatic win and defence diplomacy, is asking for the EU to do more in the Atlantic in the same way it does a huge amount in the Mediterranean. I think you could do more in the Atlantic. And then the second thing is MAOC Plus. So we do things like counter-narcotics. Can we do things in terms, for example, with subsea cables protection? Can we work with the Norwegians? Can we work with the French? Can we work with the British? That's a win we can do in the near term. In the medium to long term, the Naval Service has to be an absolute priority of spending when it comes to defence in the country. We are an island, a maritime state. We should never have let the Navy get to this point. Both the Naval Service and the Air Corps really need a serious amount of investment, both in terms of political attention and fiscal spending.
But I'd be hopeful as well. You might remember the National Cyber Security Centre. 3 years ago, that was a basket case before the HSE cyber attack. It's been completely turned around now. Why? Because they've doubled the budget, they've doubled the headcount, and they've provided a brand new premises. And the National Cyber Security Centre is a place of excellence. People actually want to work there now. And the main reason is that they recognise that the weight and the energy of the government are behind them. The people in the Naval Service feel the opposite. They feel that there's complete indifference from official Ireland in relation to their functioning, their role and their resourcing. So that's the issue that has to be tackled.